Today, we're talking about something that can completely change the way you travel and protect your finances at the same time. And that's how to create a travel budget. A lot of people, when they think of budgeting and traveling, they think that the budget takes all the fun out of the travel. But it does the opposite. It actually helps you to enjoy your trip more and not have to stress about finances over money while you're gone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe, a licensed certified public accountant with over 15 years experience in corporate and public accounting. I have an extensive background in accounting, audit, and taxes, and I'm all about helping you take control of your money by living smarter. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on all notifications. And check out the blog site where we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to create a realistic travel budget step by step. We'll talk about common mistakes people make and smarter ways to save money before and during your trip. Let's get started. Let's kick our conversation off by talking about why a travel budget is so important. The first thing people need to understand is that travel costs add up fast. Flights, hotels, food, activities, transportations, and those random expenses can easily blow through your savings if you're not prepared. A travel budget helps you to avoid credit card debt, reduce stress, stay financially organized, know what you can actually afford, enjoy your trip without guilt. The goal is not to spend as little as possible. The goal is to spend intentionally. Let's talk about determining your total budget. Step one is to figure out how much you can realistically afford. Look at your income, your bills, your debt payments, saving goals, and monthly expenses. Do not use emergency savings or money needed for rent, mortgage payment, or utilities. For example, if you can save $250 per month for 8 months, your travel budget is around $2,000. That gives you a starting point. Remember, vacation is temporary, but debt can last for years. So when you're determining your total budget, you want to be realistic on what you can and can't afford. You really want to try to stay away from as much adding any new credit card debt or loans while you're traveling. That's something you want to stay away from. You really want to try to save up and make sure that you're setting a realistic spending limit for yourself during your travels. Now, let's talk about picking the right destination. One of the biggest budgeting mistakes people make is choosing a destination first and figuring out their costs later. Instead, let your budget help guide your destination. Some locations are naturally more affordable than others. Traveling domestically may cost much less than traveling internationally. Also, consider traveling during the off season. Flights and hotels are often dramatically cheaper outside of peak vacation periods. Research average prices before booking anything. One of the biggest things I would say is when me and my wife travel, we usually try to travel instead of going Friday to Sunday, we'll try to do Monday through Thursday because usually hotel rates are cheaper, flights are cheaper, and we're not hitting the crowd. So whatever we want to visit, there's usually less people out, so we can really enjoy the vacation and really maximize some of the activities that we want to do because most people are at work when we travel during the weekday instead of traveling on the weekends. One of the biggest mistakes, like I said earlier, is people picking a destination before figuring out their costs. This could lead to a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, and a lot of anxiety. Not so much going to your trip and after you come back once the costs are all divvied up and you see how much you actually spend or how much credit card debt you may have went into. So you really want to see what your budget is and what you realistically can afford to travel to. It's okay to travel locally. It's nothing wrong with that. Don't let the Joneses on Instagram determine that you have to take this international trip or you got to take this trip halfway across the country. Stick within your budget because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be stuck with the bill, not people on social media. Now let's talk about breaking down your travel expenses. Now let's talk about the major categories every travel budget should include. Number one is transportation. This includes flights, gas, rental cars, parking, tolls, trains, and ride shares. Always compare prices and book early when possible. Compare airline prices. You want to book those airline prices as early in advance as possible because that guarantees you a spot on the plane, and it also makes your travel for those flights a lot cheaper versus waiting a couple months or even a week before you travel. Then you're going to be spending a lot of money, and you may not be guaranteed a seat on the plane if you wait later. You want to book as early as possible, and you want to use flexible travel dates. So maybe if one date doesn't work, maybe you want to try to have like a rain date or another date that may work for you and your party, depending on how you guys want to do it. And then you're going to make sure you budget for gas if you're taking a rental or if you're taking your own car. And not only that, but parking. One of the biggest things, me and my wife, we recently went to Montreal that we didn't account for was for whatever reason we didn't think about parking. We decided instead of flying into Montreal, we decided to rent a car and drive from Philly up to Montreal, and we accounted for gas, we accounted for tolls, but we didn't think about parking. But luckily, parking in Montreal wasn't really too big of a deal because it's a very walkable city. Highly recommend if you've never been. Get a chance. Very family friendly. We took the kids with us. It was a really great time. And then another thing is maybe you want to consider public transportation. Um, I know when I was in Los Angeles with my brother, we decided the way we get around was we caught the LA public transportation system. We caught the bus and we caught the trains to get around. That was really a great time. It was a little nerve wracking because I'm so used to dealing with the public transportation back home, but then going out to LA and really just taking a risk was a really good time to get around was using their public transportation. Next, let's talk about lodging. Hotels can be expensive. Look into vacation rentals, hostels, or accommodations with kitchens and free breakfast. I know the biggest thing now is the Airbnbs. That's what me and my wife had used when we went to Montreal. That was the first time I had ever used an Airbnb, so I was a little nervous. Wasn't sure what the accommodations are. So the one thing I will say with the Airbnbs, just check to make sure that they provide a washcloth and towels. That's the one thing we kind of didn't do. And then when we got there, luckily we brought our own washcloths, but we only had two washcloths in our Airbnb, which kind of sucked. But luckily we were thinking ahead and we decided to bring some of our own stuff without having to worry about it. But hotels can be expensive, but the earlier you book dive night with hotels, the less expensive they can be. And then you also maybe even look for hotels that maybe aren't right where the action is. Maybe something that's maybe 30 minutes away. I wouldn't go anything over 30 minutes, but something that's still close but not as close. That could help you save on some money and all that good stuff. Then you also maybe you want to choose a hotel that has the free continental breakfast, especially if you have kids. That's one meal you don't have to worry about. Like I said, when me and my wife went to Montreal, one of the things that we did do is we got an Airbnb. Our goal was to look for a local market and actually cook maybe breakfast while we were there. But our kids and myself, we actually don't aren't really big breakfast eaters, so that was one thing we didn't have to worry about. And then we kind of wanted to cook lunch and dinner, but we ended up not doing it. We ended up just saying, hey, let's just immerse ourselves in the culture. Who knows when we'll get back to Montreal? So you have a choice there. If you want to get an Airbnb where you could cook, it might be a little bit easier. All right, next up is food. Let's talk about food. People underestimate food costs constantly. Eating out for every meal adds up fast. Set daily food budget limits and mix restaurants with groceries or simple meals. Kind of talked about this a little bit within the hotels. We want to grocery shop when possible and set daily food limits and avoid pricing pricey areas. One of the things that we did when we went to Montreal was we tried to look for the local food spots outside of their center city or downtown district. We found quite a few, and it was actually way cheaper than when we did go into the local area or the local more touristy area. And the food was great. We really immersed ourselves into the culture. But eating out does add up very quickly, so you want to make sure that you set a realistic budget. And it's not even just eating out, but you also got to think about the snacks. When we went out to Montreal, one of the things we did with the kids was we got snacks almost every day, whether it was churros, ice cream, getting some of the pastries, since it's a very French culture up there. That's one thing that you also have to consider, not just meals, but those in between snacks that you're going to have. Next, we're going to talk about activities and entertainment. You really want to plan ahead for tours, attractions, concerts, museums, and excursions. And also, you can look for free activities too. Most large cities have something free going on all the time. You just got to find the right one for you. The biggest thing I would say here is definitely planning ahead, um, and making sure you're getting your tickets in advance. The biggest thing that can help you, like I said, instead of going on the weekends when most people are off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe travel on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday during the weekday. It'd probably be less people there, so you can really enjoy those excursions and those museums, and you'll probably have most of the place to yourself for you to take your time and really enjoy those those things. And then last but not least, one of the things that people don't always think about is emergency expenses. You always want to have extra money for unexpected situations. I would recommend setting aside at least 10 to 15% of your total travel budget just for emergencies. One of the emergencies we had while we were away, when we went to Montreal, like I said, we had rented a car. One of the biggest things that we ran into was with our rental. Our rental actually caught a flat. We ran over something, so for the first 2 days, we had to keep going to the gas station to get air before we were actually able to turn the rental back in and get a new rental. Thank God it was we had got the emergency service plan with our rental protection versus just getting the rental without that protection. But I could only imagine if we had took our own regular vehicle up and we had caught a flat, it would have been what we have done. But luckily, we had budgeted for those emergencies. Now let's shift gears and talk about creating that savings plan. Once you know your estimated costs, start saving intentionally. Open a separate travel savings account if possible. Automate transfers every paycheck. You can also temporarily cut unnecessary spending to help you reach your goal even quicker. Maybe reduce takeout from restaurants, maybe reduce subscriptions or impulsive shopping for a few months. Small sacrifices now can fund an amazing experience later. Now let's talk about how to track that spending while you're traveling. One of the smartest things you can do while traveling is track your spending daily. Use a budgeting app, spreadsheet, or your phone notes. Even small purchases can add up quickly. If you overspend in one category, adjust somewhere else. Staying aware helps prevent financial surprises when you return home. Now let's talk about some common travel budget mistakes to avoid. Here are some common mistakes people make. Forgetting the hidden fees. So take a look at those fees for the airline. Maybe it's having those check-in bags that may be over the limit. Want to look at some of the hidden processing fees when you're going out, and all that. Not budgeting for food. This is a big one. Food costs can add up very quickly, and you have to eat while you're traveling. Ignoring emergency expenses. It's like I told you before. We caught a leak in our rental while we were in Montreal. Luckily, we were budgeted for it, and we were able to get that taken care of without really hurting our travel budget. Using credit cards without a repayment plan. It's okay to use the credit card, but make sure you have some kind of plan in place in order to avoid the debt trap. Overspending on souvenirs. You really want to set a limit. I know it's really hard if you have small children, but you want to set a limit on the souvenirs that you're getting and the people that you're buying for. And waiting too long to book a flight. Remember, the longer you wait to book a flight, the more expensive that flight's going to be. So be sure to plan ahead to help avoid all these problems. So, what's our bottom line? At the end of the day, travel budgeting is about freedom. Financial preparation allows you to enjoy experiences without stress or regret. You do not need to be wealthy to travel. You simply need a plan. If you enjoyed practical finance and tax tips made simple, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me on social media for more interaction. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week to talk about some money myths.